Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be shooting 300 yards with a Palmetto AR-15 7.5 inch barrel. So we're really going to push this out. So those three targets on the top, that's at 300 yards. The one below is at 200 yards. We're going to save that for later on. But right now we're going to go straight to the 300. So my goal is I've got three different types of ammunition. I'm going to shoot the Tula first on the left. Then I'm going to shoot PNC X-Stack 55 grain in the middle. And then to the right, I'm going to shoot the 77 grain Sierra Match King. Okay, so let me bring you guys back. Back up a little bit. This camera's not cooperating. Here it is. Okay, here you go. Got you back to 1X. So it's way out there. All right, here we go. So this is what we're shooting. This is the Palmetto AR-15. It's got a 7.5 inch barrel. It's got the Core Battery linear comp up front. I got the Hollow Sun 503 CU optics. All I got is a dot today, but I've got behind it the Vortex 6X magnifier. So I do have a 6X magnifier. So I'm going to be holding at the top of the paper center. And I expect they're going to drop. I don't know exactly how much they're going to drop, but I'm going to anchor right to the top of the paper, and we're going to see what happens with this. Okay, so we're going to start first with the Tula, right? This Tula 55 grain. I got the sun setting like right in front of me. I'm put a hat on, try and give myself a little bit of a shade. Cant this off to the side a little bit. So that was Tula. Now we're going to go on the middle target with the PNC X-Stack 55 grain. Now, instantly what I'm doing is I'm switching the magnifier off to the side so I can find my target out there, because otherwise with the 6X, I'm doing too much searching. So I rest the gun, I find the target without the magnifier, and then I flip it over, once I'm on the target. So the nice thing is we don't have too much wind today. Wind's coming in from behind me, pushing straight forward. so that's not going to affect my left or right too much. I mean, the one hard thing about this location is I pretty much have to shoot in that direction because that's where the backstop is, and the sun's always setting in front of me every time I come out here. All right, so now, so like I said, this is a 7.5-inch barrel. We're shooting at 300 yards. Okay, so now we're doing the 77 grain Sierra Match King 223. So the with the sun setting in front of me, the hardest thing is, I mean, it's really hard to have good follow through because basically you want to keep aiming at the target after the gun goes bang, right? You got to give the bullet a chance to get out of your barrel, and it's just really hard to stay. It's a lot harder rather to stay on it with the glare that you're getting from the sun right in front of you, and that's even with the hat canted a little bit to the side here, trying to give me some cover. So let's go out and take a look and see what I did out there. I'm going to pause you guys for a second. All right, everyone, let's take a look at our 3 targets over here. They all did pretty decent. I mean, you're talking about a 7.5-inch AR pistol. It's basically a pistol from 300 yards. Okay, so let's take a look at the Tula. All right, so this we have a total group of about a total group of about 19 inches with a cluster of about 10 inches, but that's only 5 out of 6. Okay, so one of them was off the paper completely. Okay, but you can see the ones I've circled over here. The total group's about 19 inches and a 10-inch cluster. I think that's great, man, for Tula. I mean, Tula is something that, like, people stockpile of. I mean, people will typically stockpile 10, 20,000 rounds of Tula because it's cheap. And here's the thing, in the shit hit the fan type of situation, if I'm going to barter with somebody, or if I'm going to trade or just help somebody out, I mean, I'm going to give them Tula, all right? So you can expect to receive Tula because it was the cheapest for me to get. So at 300 yards, I have a 7.5-inch barrel. We're getting a total group of about, well, we got 5 out of 6 on the paper, and those grouped at about 19 inches. I think that's pretty decent for cheap ammo. Definitely viable, right? Remember, it's a 7.5-inch barrel we're shooting this out of. Okay, so let's take a look at the X-Tax. The X-Tax only did a little bit better, not a whole lot. That's what I'm saying. The Tula's is doing really good. First of all, let me mention this. The drop here, because my dot was up here, I anchored it to the top of the paper. So the total drop here was about 22 inches. All right, so basically dropped about 2 feet. Now Tula does run a little bit slower, about 100 feet per second slower. We can see over here with the 55 grain X-Tax, it came up a little bit, right? You can see how it's a little bit higher. My drop here is only 18 inches, so it's about an inch higher. But here's the thing: I don't know what happened here. I think I completely pulled that. If we discount that, I mean, the group is down almost about 27 inches, right? So who knows what happened with that one over there? Maybe I pulled the gun up or something. I don't remember doing that, but I was shooting into the sun. So I should really just focus on those four shots down there and say that it's about 27 inches down. This one over here is only about, what I say, about 18 inches down. But again, same deal here. I got 5 out of 6 on the paper. You can see the ones that I circled. 5 out of 6. The ones that made it on the paper, they group about, what did I say? I wrote it down here somewhere. 18 inches. So we got an 18-inch group. They're all about evenly spaced out, so I can't say I have a cluster. You know, the 55 grain X-Tac only did a little bit better than the Tula. Okay, now when we go over here, the 77 grain Sierra Match King, yeah, we got a much nicer group. All right, same conditions, so shooting into the sun. First of all, 6 out of 6 on the paper, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All 6 made it onto the paper. The total group is 14 inches with all 6 on the paper. And then if we discount the one that's furthest out, we have an 11-inch cluster. All right, so by far we did the best. But let's, total group 14 inches at 300 yards out of 7.5-inch barrel. I'm not complaining. The only thing is that we can see there's a drop. It's like near the bottom of the paper. Again, that's with me holding my dot here. I'm going to shoot this again. This time I'm going to put my dot on top of the target, which is normally something I would do at 400 yards, right? So at 300 yards, normally I'm putting here, and it's only dropping about, about 10 inches. It would have dropped in the center here. But because it's a shorter barrel, we can see it's dropping. It's dropping, almost 26, 27 inches. So next time I shoot this, I'm going to hold to the top of the paper, which is what I would do if I was shooting 400 yards instead of, with a regular 16-inch barrel. So we're going to treat this for range. For ranging it, we're gonna hold over like it's 400 yards with a 7.5-inch barrel. But look, I mean, that's a nice group, especially shooting into the sun. 14 inches, 11-inch, with an 11-inch cluster. If we only look at the 5 best shots, that's pretty decent. I mean, this 7.5-inch, from Palmetto, because this is a Palmetto. This is a budget gun, right? I think I paid less than $350 for that upper. I don't remember exactly how much, but it was somewhere around there, 350, maybe a little bit less than that. I don't remember, but not anywhere near 400. It was not $400. So that's not bad at all, right? We're gonna shoot this again. This time I'm gonna hold to the top of the paper, like right at, put my dot right over the paper, and we'll see what happens. All right, I went and I got the sunglasses. I don't know how much it's gonna help. The sun's really stubborn today. It's funny, like on the days that I want to have sun, I don't have sun. On the days that I would prefer to have clouds, I've got lots of sun. But anyway, here we go. Let's do it again. We're shooting the Tula, 55 grain Tula first. And this time I'm holding, I'm holding to the top, just above the paper. So basically I'm using like a 400-yard hold with a red dot, at 300 yards, because it's a 7.5-inch barrel. All right, now we're going to do the X-Tacs. Middle target. now with still with the sunglasses. I was getting confused between the 3 targets. I hope I put the bullets on the right targets, but we'll know when we get down there if there's extra holes in one of the targets. But yeah, that's the deal with shooting it to the sun. Sometimes if you got 3 targets lined up, you know, because of the glare, it's easy to get them confused. Let's do the 77 grain now. Okay, the thing that's helping is taking the magnifier off, getting on target. You know, once the gun is set, then flipping it over, you know, after the gun is positioned. So I don't have to hunt for it so much. All right, let's take a walk down there, see what we did. All right, everyone. I gotta tell you guys, I'm really happy. I'm getting consistent results. Now, this time I was holding my dot at the top of the paper, so I was anchoring to the top of the center. That's what I'd be doing if I was shooting 400 yards instead of 300 yards, because I'm shooting 300 yards today. So the bullet drop is kind of like, you know, with the 7.5-inch barrel, as if though I was shooting 400 yards. So now, as far as the group, again, the Tula. Before we had 5 out of 6 on the paper. Same thing here, 5 out of 6. Of course, the group came up. I've marked these with squares so we can tell the difference from the ones before. And again, this is 300 yards. So the 5 out of 6 that made it to the paper, total group 18.5 inches. And if we discount that one over there, we've got a cluster of 12.5. Which again, for Tula, hey, I mean, it's doing way, way better than I think anybody expected at 300 yards out of a 7.5-inch barrel. That last shot probably went someplace right over here, I'm going to guess. So let's take a look at the X-Tac. The X-Tac did a lot better this time. Again, the group came up pretty high. Again, holding the dot to the top of the, on top of the paper here. First of all 6 shots made it on the paper. So we got 6 out of 6 on the paper. And then the total group is 11.5 inches. All right, so that's still well inside a man who's typically about 20 inches wide. So we got 11.5 inches. And if we discount this one flyer over there, we've got 9.5 inches between the furthest 2 shots, which is those 2 shots right there from here to here. All right, when we're looking at the squares now, 9.5-inch cluster, total group 11.5 inches. And over here, let's take a look at the 77 grains. This time around, the X-Tacs actually did better because we got a total grouping here of 11.5 inches. My total group here was 12.5, so we opened up by 1 inch with the 77 grain Sierra Match Kings, but it did end up being more centered. Now, again, I'm shooting into the sun. There's really not that much wind today, but the main issue is shooting into the sun and trying to stay on target, because at times, like when I was shooting that one, I'm like, wait a second, did I shoot that one or did I hit? Was I aiming at this one? And that's only because when you're shooting into the sun, it's kind of hard to tell the 3 targets apart. But this one over here with the 77 grains, 6 out of 6 on the paper, nicely centered. Again, holding the dot over here, holding it on top. It seems to have dropped about 15 inches. Again, earlier it fell down over here. So between the furthest 2 shots, we've got 12.5 inches. And if we discount this one over here, as a flyer, then the other 5 are 8. We have a cluster of 8.5 inches. You know, I always like to discount that one shot that, you know, maybe I threw, or maybe the sun just kind of threw me off a little bit. So I like to look at like the total group, and then I also like to look, well, if I throw out my worst shot, you know, what does my average look like? So my average looks like it would be coming in at about 8.5 inches under ideal circumstances. So I gotta tell you guys, I mean, shooting a 7.5 inch AR pistol, right? And it's really a pistol, because I got revolvers that are actually longer than 7.5. I got like 8-inch revolvers, you know. So you know, we're really shooting a pistol at 7.5 inches, and you know, getting, you know, groups of 12.5 inches here, 11.5 inches here. Let's see, which was the best group of the day out of this all? Well, those we didn't even get all. The best we did on the Tula is 5 out of 6 on the paper, so we can't even say we got a perfect group on that. On the first one here, we only got 5 out of 6. So the second one was the first one where we got all 6. So that was 11.5 inches versus this one. On this one, on both of them, we got 6 out of 6. So the first one was 14 inches. My second group was definitely better. So the best shooting that I did today was actually with the 55 grain PNC X-Tac, with the 11.5 inch total group for 6 out of 6 at 300 yards with that 7.5 inch barrel from Palmetto State Armory. Like I said, pretty cheap barrel. You know, I mean, it was a pretty cheap setup. I think the whole gun cost me definitely less than $600, probably closer to 500. I don't remember the exact numbers, you know, but yeah, including the linear comp, maybe I came in around 550. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was actually very educational for me. This was the first time I was shooting a 7.5 inch barrel at 300 yards, and I really had no idea what to expect. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to make it on the paper. Luckily today the wind was pretty low, or coming in directly from behind us, so the weather was a little bit cooperative. The only thing was bugging us a little bit was the sun right in front of our face. So again, thanks for watching. Drop some comments below. I enjoyed the conversation we have. It gives me encouragement to make more videos. So you guys encourage me by making comments. So I always appreciate conversations that we have. I'll talk to you all soon.